With us, we want us now to dive into the conversation of the morning. Nelson Koech is the Member of Parliament for Belgut constituency. He's also the Chair of Foreign Affairs, Defence and Intelligence at the National Assembly. Good morning.
Good morning, Sam. Good morning, Kenyans.
Right. Senator Godfrey Sotsi is the Senator of Vihiga and also the Deputy Party Leader of ODM. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Sam, and all the Kenyans.
Great. It's been a while. Where have you been? You've been busy.
I've been busy with party matters and also my work as a senator.
I thought you were going to say also with government affairs. All right. Now, to start us off this morning, we're still waiting for the arrival of Senator Cleophas Malala, who is the Deputy Party Leader of the newest political party to be announced or to be unveiled, that is the DCP. But before then, there's a story that is still developing about the deportation of Martha Karua, who had traveled to Tanzania alongside two others and was denied entry into Tanzania. We're also seeing some reports of former Chief Justice Willie Mutunga in the company of two social activists have also been denied entry of sorts. We're still waiting to verify how far they are with that. But let's first hear from Martha Karua herself on what exactly happened yesterday.
If as citizens of Jumuiya, we can be detained arbitrarily and deported, it means that the purpose of the Jumuiya is lost. It is a very sad time for East Africa, and it is up to us as citizens to say no to oppression. We want to tell you that citizens of East Africa, and I am one of them, we are not going to take it lying down. We will push back, and we shall not surrender to tyranny.
All right, and those events of yesterday have really caused a bit of reaction on different platforms, including social media, but also different leaders, including Kalonzo Musyoka, have been speaking against that kind of treatment. And Mheshimiwa Koech, you chair the Foreign Relations Committee, the committee responsible for foreign affairs. I don't know what your take this is, because yes, for Martha Karua, this is the second time. Remember what happened to her while attempting to get into Uganda to represent opposition leader Kizza Besigye. And now here we are, a similar situation. What do you make of it?
First of all, like she rightly said, that as member of Jumuiya, East African Community Treaty, she should be allowed to move freely within the East Africa region, because that is what the treaty says. But then the right to admit any citizen is a reserve of the country that they are visiting. So if the Tanzania security or whatever, or Tanzania government for that matter, feels that Martha Karua is not supposed to be in their country, they have a right, and they have reasons. You see, this is one story that this is Karua's story. We've not had an official statement from the Tanzanian authorities on why she was deported. So there might be other reasons that we do not know. But I also want to say that I think sometimes maybe Karua should focus on Kenya. I saw statements from Tanzania earlier that, you know, why will Karua want to come and speak on issues with Tanzania, yet Kenya has other challenges.
She was going to attend court.
Yeah, but I mean, there are lawyers in Tanzania. She's not the only lawyer for that matter. And she's not the only lawyer. She's not an East African lawyer, for that matter, that she must represent political detainees in Uganda.
Movement and freedom of labor movement?
There is freedom, but I've said the right to admit any citizen of another country belongs to the host country. And if they feel uncomfortable and they do not want to admit them, then they'll deport them. Exactly what they did yesterday. So maybe it should now reflect, Honorable Karua should reflect and see if probably there are issues that these countries are uncomfortable with. Are they uncomfortable with her? Are they uncomfortable with her representing them? And is there
so why not allow her to go to court and deny her audience?
That's like I said, that belongs to the authorities in Tanzania. I cannot speak on behalf of Tanzania. I cannot speak on behalf of Uganda, where she has been also denied to represent Besigye. The question we should be asking is that, you know, why is Karua becoming sort of an ambulance chaser, so to call it.
What does that mean?
Like
context.
It used to be lawyers who just appear in court for purposes of profiling themselves for any case that happens.
You think that's what she's trying to do?
I don't know, but in my view, why will you leave? I mean, you want to represent some people in Uganda, you want to represent some people in Tanzania, you want to represent some people in Kenya. You're permanently on the move to represent...
Tundu Lissu is not some people. He's the opposition leader there.
Yeah. I don't know. Karua did not say she wasn't only going to represent Tundu Lissu. She was also going to represent other people. I believe that there are justifiable reasons on why someone should be denied to attend, to go to another country. And probably that is what Karua should reflect on. Unless we get
So this is Chairperson, Committee of the National Assembly that handles matters foreign relations. The Principal Secretary of Foreign Affairs is saying that our mission in Dar es Salaam has reached out to relevant authorities in the United Republic of Tanzania, and we will be apprising further on the matter shortly. He was responding to questions raised by the LSK President, Faith Odhiambo, some 17 hours ago. You don't find that disturbing? I mean...
In my opening statement, I said it is unfortunate that she has been denied. But I said the host country has the right to do that. Nothing denies them the fact that, you can be deported back to a country. It happens everywhere, not just in Tanzania.
Would Kenya do the same to an opposition leader in Tanzania who is a lawyer?
If they want to, they will do. They have never shown interest in representing any person in Kenya. I mean, our democracy is matured to an extent where we don't get into these small political fights anymore.
But security officers were allowed into Kenya to arrest Kizza Besigye.
Sometimes there are questions that they would rather go to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs directly. Me, personally, as a member of Parliament and as a chairman of Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations, from where I sit, I have said it is unfortunate that Martha Karua was deported because it undermines the East African Community Treaty of free trade and free movement of people from the East African community. Nonetheless, the admission of any citizen from within the three countries is a subject of the host country. That is why it's very difficult, because this is a statement that has only come from Honorable Martha Karua. Like the PS Foreign Affairs is saying, they're trying to establish from the authorities what exactly happened. I will leave it at that and say, unless I truly understand what happened, or probably why she was deported, it will be very, very prejudicial for me to make a statement on what exactly might have happened.
You already did. Now, Senator Sotsi, what do you make of this?
Well, I think it was unnecessary and unfortunate for Tanzanian government to do what they did because, as he rightly says, the East Africa Community Treaty is very clear on movement of people, free movement of people within East Africa. And for that kind of action to have been done by the Tanzanian government, I think it was really unnecessary, backward, and I think also it undermines the spirit of East Africa community. And it also tells us that we are very far off from achieving the East Africa Political Federation because of the other countries within the East Africa. They are not on the same level as Kenya in terms of upholding democratic ideals. Because I think Mrs. Karua was just going to attend a court session. She wasn't going to be one of the lawyers representing Lissu. She was basically just going to be an observer. So really, I wonder what mistake she did by just visiting Tanzania to go and attend a court session. They will tell us, the Tanzanian authorities will tell us, but really what is coming out so far...
Should the government of Kenya be concerned?
Really, the government of Kenya should be concerned. I saw a statement by the PS that he will try to find out what exactly happened. And I think they should be concerned in the context of upholding democratic ideals within East Africa region and in the context of working towards a political federation. Because if we have this kind of challenges, political challenges in upholding democracy across East Africa. You see Uganda, we have a problem with the BCJ. We now have a problem in Tanzania. Rwanda is even worse. Then we are far off from achieving political federation that we have always been talking about.
You know, what is disturbing, Mheshimiwa Koech? So, like I told you, not long ago, I think it was sometime last year, Kizza Besigye was arrested in Nairobi. And the government of Kenya cooperated fully to have him taken to Kampala. And after that happened, of course, Martha Karua faced challenges in getting admitted, but eventually she was admitted to also be in that case. Here is Tundu Lissu, another opposition leader, just like Kizza Besigye in Kampala. Tundu Lissu is in court for, I think, treason allegations. You chair the Defense and Foreign Relations Committee. You're here saying that it's up to the government of Tanzania. That would sound almost complacent. Kenya has an opposition leader at the same time. In this case, we may say Rigathi Gachagua, who, according to the papers, Kipchumba Murkomen and Deputy President Professor Kindiki are saying he will be arrested. So what is the government's position about opposition leaders in the region?
I do not know what Tundu Lissu did, or Besigye for that matter. Like I said initially, and which Honorable Sosi also has mentioned, it undermines the treaty, the East African Community Treaty. It truly undermines. But then I do not know the subject. I do not know the content. I do not know why, for instance, Tundu Lissu was arrested. Is he a threat to the Ugandan authorities, Tanzanian authorities? Is there a problem that probably will be treasonable in charge? And there are issues that probably will undermine the investigation if Karua was to present them for that matter or not. And so on and so forth. But for issues of Kenya that you've raised, I can confidently speak about Kenya. You know, like you did say, I've seen in the newspapers, I think that is what you're referring to, that statement by Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka that there were plans to arrest the former Deputy President, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua. I did make a statement yesterday in Siaya, where I said, in fact, it is too late for Honorable Gachagua to be arrested. The statements that he's continued to issue are extremely, extremely dangerous for this country and security of this country. Some people do not understand what it meant in 2007 for some people. In fact, I personally lost some relatives in Sondu River. And we've forgotten, we've lived to forget about it. But the Deputy President, because he thinks that his personal problem is a national problem, is a national crisis, he wants all of us to leave what we are doing and focus on his statements. I tell you, Sam, and like I made a statement here before on Honorable Muturi, it is not a matter of when.
It's not a matter of if
for Honorable Gachagua, he will be arrested. That I can authoritatively tell you in this station this morning. Because we do not want people who continue to play with the lives of the people of Kenya. How do you know
that? You say authoritatively. How do you know that?
I am the chairman, Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations. I don't consume intelligent information, but I know the mood of the government when they want to pounce on someone. Not even that, Sam. Don't you find it wrong that such a statement can be made and someone can be arrested? We are not above, no one is above the law in this country. We all submit to the rule of law. Where statements have been made that border on incitement of communities, you saw the Kikuyu community yesterday in Rift Valley come out strongly to condemn the town because the Kikuyu community, where the Deputy President comes from, he does business everywhere. Very industrious people. But you have someone, a horrible tribalist, coming out with a terrible statement that borders on incitement.
And we'll talk about those in details, but also to recognize the arrival of Senator Cleophas Malala, the Deputy Party Leader of DCP Party. And before I get to you, Mheshimiwa Koech, don't you find it disturbing that, yes, as Chair Defense, Foreign Relations and Intelligence, you're saying you don't consume intelligence reports, but you can authoritatively confirm that Rigathi Gachagua will be arrested. I ask you about Martha Karua. You tell me that the authorities in Tanzania, for sure, they have the reasons why they denied her entry, and they have the right to deny her entry. But when I ask you of the position of the government on this particular question, you say you don't know.
No, I said I will stick by what the PS, Foreign Relations, did say. Mr.
So you don't have intelligence or information on foreign relations about...
This thing happened yesterday, okay?
Yeah.
Most of us were out in our constituencies.
But you already know Gachagua will be arrested.
Because this is...
And he has not been arrested.
No. Martha Karua has not done anything. It's not even in the jurisdiction of this country. Martha Karua was traveling to Tanzania. Rigathi Gachagua made a statement.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's interesting. What has not happened, you know it. What has happened, you don't know it.
No, Sam. Honestly, you know, I also find it a bit more difficult for you. Don't you find the statements that were made by Honorable Gachagua as disturbing?
Which I said we'll get into that.
Yeah. So for me, even without being told, I said I can tell from the mood of our security apparatus that it is about time they will arrest him. And not for anything, just to show him that he's not above the law.
And that the more
because he believes...
You're able to read mood, but you're not able to read reality.
I'm saying today, the PS Foreign Relations, of course, will now use the instruments and the structures that we have within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to find out what exactly happened. So we have a diplomat.
Is the committee bothered?
It is.
On this matter?
It is bothered because it's not the first time that has happened. Karua before went to Tanzania. You remember how she was treated? It is unfair. And that is why we should find answers to exactly what happened. Uganda, yeah. Every Kenyan must be able to freely move within
That's what
East African
what are you going to do?
Otherwise, it undermines the spirit. And I'm sure we even have members of the East African Legislative Assembly who will even raise issues in the East African Legislative Assembly.
All right. Senator Malala, what's your take about what has happened to Senior Counsel Martha Karua?
First of all, this is as a result of, I've had Mheshimiwa Koech here speaker, and it's very unfortunate that a leader in his capacity can speak in such a manner. This is as a result of our perforated foreign policy. You saw what happened with RFS, you saw what happened with BCJ, and therefore I think we need to review our attitude towards the foreign policy. We need also to remind ourselves that we must be patriotic. We cannot be celebrating a Kenyan being harassed and denied her rights in a foreign country. As a nation, we have, first of all, you as a government, you have a sole responsibility to protect your citizens, wherever they are. That is why you see, when we have war in other jurisdictions, governments go and pick their people. They don't go and say that this is a criminal, this is not a criminal. It is the responsibility of government to ensure that the citizens of that country are protected in whatever form. How I wished Mheshimiwa Koech would have been patient enough to seek more information and then address national television in the authoritative manner he's doing right now. This shows how this government is reactive. This shows how this government is not coordinated in their response. You've seen lately, we've seen different officials of governments responding differently to the same issue. So how I wish there is a coordinated way, and especially on matters foreign relation, there is a coordinated way in which government can be responding to this thing. Not anybody. Somebody is coming from Migori, he wants to respond on issues of foreign relations with other country.
But he's the chairman for foreign relations committee.
They have not sat. He chairs a committee. Has he sat with the committee members? Has he seeked any statement about it? So I think being a chairman, I think it's an oversight role. You're not implementing the executive function. Precisely. And therefore you would have waited and in fact summoned the PS or the CS of Foreign Affairs to come to Parliament and get the right information. Then communicate on behalf of the committee. You cannot come here and speak or articulate your personal feelings as the chair of Foreign Relations, Defense and Foreign Relations Committee. So how I wish our government perfects on the foreign policies, implementation of the foreign policies. Second, I would want to say that it was quite unfortunate for Martha Karua to be treated in that manner, because she was traveling to attend maybe the East African Legislative Law Society or something. And she has a right. She has a right to move around. Remember, we exist within the East Africa Cooperation borders, and therefore it is just good enough for our sister country to treat her in a manner in which we would like to treat other dignitaries from other countries. You saw the other day, Uganda were allowed to come and arrest the opposition leader here in Kenya. Who allowed foreign police officers to come to Kenya and arrest somebody from Kenya? You know what our foreign policies dictate.
Kizza Besigye?
Yes. And therefore, I think as a country, we need to relook at the manner in which we are implementing our foreign policies, and even, if possible, improve, because we are still stuck in the past.
Okay. All right. You raised important questions as to what has been happening. Of course, that matter of Kizza Besigye, the Sudan issue. There were complaints, I think, last week from the Senate of the U.S. complaining about Kenya's dalliance with China and saying that the U.S. needs to relook into the relations with Kenya in regards to the positions it's taking. Quite some questions there on the matters of foreign relations. I want us to take a short break on DayBreak. When we come back, we'll also be looking at the local politics away from the East African region. But Engineer Lazaro Kanyamboki is saying what's been going on in East Africa is even now worrying. It seems we are slipping back to an era of dictatorship. Deportation of Martha Karua undermined spirit of brotherhood. We can't be brothers when our fishermen are being arrested daily. Then that statement from the Law Society of Kenya, Article 104 of the Treaty for the Establishment of the East African Community, contemplates a region where citizens move across member states freely and without undue restraint, such as we have witnessed today. That free movement is guaranteed and given effect by Article 7 of the Protocol on the Establishment of the East African Community Common Market, by which all member states of the community guarantee free movement of citizens within their territories. We wait to see what transpires, and of course more developments that are coming from both Tanzania and Kenya. We'll be back in a moment.